Hello everyone, JR10 Desert Gold. I thought I'd try and put a quick one together here. Got a package in the mail today. Been waiting for over a month for it, so I was kind of excited to get it. I'm sure you can figure out, hopefully you can, if I could ever get this oriented. There you go. I got a little lone wolf action here. So what did I get? I got a 357 SIG barrel, which is also, let me get this in focus maybe. It's threaded and fluted. And as I said, it's 357 SIG. And basically, it's certified stress relieved to 416 stainless steel, button rifled, 3-stage hone bore. So they put some work into this barrel, and it's salt bath nitride treated, heat treated to Rockwell 4042, SBN increased to Rockwell 60. It's a nice, well machined barrel for a very reasonable price. You know, that's one of the things I've always loved about Lone Wolf. You could get excellent quality, fully supported chambers. In this case, you get the fluting and the threaded barrel. And I think it was, I want to say about $150. So this is obviously going to be used in my Glock 19. It also is a threaded barrel, but wait a second, how can I put a 357 SIG barrel in a Glock 19? I really can't. But if this were a Glock 23, well then you could. Or even a Glock 32. So when is a Glock not a Glock? Well, let's figure this out. First of all, you can see that this isn't a standard upper. This is actually a slide from Rock Slide USA, and it is a Glock 23 slide, which makes it technically a 40 Smith & Wesson or a 9mm Glock 19 or a Glock 32 with the 357 barrel in it. So we don't have a Glock upper. The Rock Slide USA does, by the way, do a very nice job on their milling. The barrel I've got in here is a Lone Wolf barrel also that I sent out to have titanium nitride put on it. I didn't want to get really fancy with all the bling bling, but a couple of things added a little spice to it, so I was okay with that. Also, here's my unit. You saw my video on the Holosun 507C. It sits perfectly, mounts perfectly. It co-witnesses with the AmeriGlow suppressor sights that I have on here. Perfect. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better matchup on this. Everything just went right together. The lower is a polymer 80. I'm sure most of you would have probably noticed that if I got a close-up of it. But so the lower is not Glock, the upper is not Glock. The lower parts kit that I used was from Lone Wolf. I think they call it their enhanced trigger lower. And I really didn't buy it for the trigger. I bought it for just the other parts. I mean, that kit was about $49, so what the heck, I'll see what the trigger was like. And it was basically what I expected for $49. It's okay. I mean, you could adjust it, but it was not anything I wanted. So I went ahead and I got Zevtech's Fulcrum trigger, the drop-in. It comes with a couple of different springs. I put the 3-pound in there, and it's just phenomenal. I love Zevtech's trigger. I mean, there's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this for you. It just, right now, I mean, I'm at the wall and I haven't even done anything other than activate the safety, and you have a super clean, crisp brake, and then the reset is crazy. I mean, it's already reset. Just beautiful trigger, love it. So the thing I did like about the Lone Wolf enhanced parts kit was they have, I'll never get this on, they have an enhanced takedown lever. The stock ones are a pain in the butt to get your slide out. You can't get a grip on it most of the time. These, I don't know if I can get you to, they stick up pretty good. I mean, the other thing was that the mag release was enhanced, and I mean, it was absurd how far that thing stuck out. It looked like this thing was sporting wood all the time. I actually had to take about 1/16 of an inch off of it because it was just sticking out way too far for me anyway. The other thing I put on was the Inforce APL-C, or the compact version of their APL light. It's a 200, I'm pretty sure it's 200. It's 200 or 300. I'm leaning towards 200, which is light. I mean, as far as lumens go, it's pretty mild compared to some of the other lights out there. But the thing that sold me on this is, if you can see, this is where you can activate the light, and it just so happens that when you're in your presentation stance or you're ready, your grip, your trigger finger is already sitting on the pad for the light. I mean, you can activate the light and as soon as you need to, you just drop right down to the trigger. The other side is the same, with the pad, which you could activate with your thumb for right-handed shooters. At first I thought that the lumen rating might be a little bit low until last night. I was messing around with it, and I turned on the light and went to view the circle red dot, and the light on a white wall will basically wash out the circle dot. So you can think that if it was any more than 200 lumens, it would just be a constant issue with washout unless you just switch the light off, which you can do. This has two functions. You can press it and hold it, and it'll be momentary, or if you do it real quick, it stays on. Whereas if you press and hold it, you can search around, and it'll, as soon as you release the button, it'll turn off. So what I like about the Polymer 80 lower is it gave me the choice to choose either a Glock 23 upper or a Glock 19 upper. Both would fit on this lower. My theory has always been to get the most versatility out of a firearm platform as you can possibly get. I did a few years back a video on why I would not buy a Glock 26. That was probably the most hated movie or video that year on YouTube. I mean, I brought every Glock 26 fanboy out of the woodwork, and to this day I'm still putting quick clot on the wounds that I suffered during that. But what people failed to realize was that I own a Glock 27, and it was very easy to make it or convert it to a Glock 26, whereas the reverse is not possible. And that's what I was trying to point out. You can always go down, but you cannot go up. So I went with the 23, and now this platform is capable of being a 40 Smith & Wesson, a 9mm, or a 357 SIG, all in one platform. Not only that, both of these, as I said, are threaded. So here's my Osprey suppressor, and this one is for the Osprey 45 ACP, but by changing out the piston, I can mount this very easily on this and have a Glock 19 suppressed pistol, or I could have the same piston, take the suppressor off of this barrel, put the barrel in, and you have a suppressed 357 SIG or a Glock 32. So these are the things that I look at when I'm building something or putting something together, is that you never know what the future's going to bring as far as, you know, ammo availability, based either on the idiots in Congress or you know, an environmental situation that arises and people start hoarding ammo, and you find yourself not able to, say, pick up, 9mm, but yet there would be the availability of either 40 Smith & Wesson or 357 SIG that has probably not been hoarded to the extent that the popular 9mm would be. So those are the things that I look at. The more versatile that your platform is, the more availability you have to diversify, and even at the very least get the experience on training with different calibers without having to go to a separate gun altogether. People would want to say, well, why would you spend all that money fixing up a gun? All right, sorry about that. The battery in my antiquated video system died on me, so while I was recharging the battery, it reminded me of something that I wanted to throw in there real quick. As you can see, I've added the accessory to the firearm, and it fits just perfect. And oh man, that circle dot sits right above it. It is just, it's awesome. I would try to show you, but with all the jittering and shaking I have, you would never even see it. But here we have the new or newer Inforce Tactical Light, the APL compact, and you can see how tightly it tucks into the weapon light. The other thing I wanted to show you, and I'm not sure it's going to show up, let me get the light real quick. And this was an unintended or unexpected benefit. I don't know if you can see it, but it isn't as close as I thought it would be. In normal daylight, this Inforce, the texture and coloring matches pretty closely, whereas under this light it looks like it's a little greenish tint. But you can also see how closely it tucks into the lower, and that is a benefit and a negative. The benefit is you've got access to it immediately, conveniently, and it's easy to utilize in a situation that you need to activate the light. The negative is, look how far down that suppressor sits. It sits far enough down that it actually blocks the upper part of the light beam. I didn't realize it until I tried it a couple of nights ago, and I'm gonna show you real quick. Okay, I've got the room dimmed up a little bit, and it should be enough for you to see what I'm talking about. See the shadow on the top of the beam. Now there's still plenty of light there to make out a friend or foe, but it was not something I expected or thought about. I'm still good with the setup though. Anyway, I've bored you guys long enough. I'm gonna watch some college football, have a beer, steak, and go from there. You all have fun, be safe. This is Desert Gold out.